too funny.
All right. It is 2:05 p.m. and Karen and I have been desperately
trying. That's what we've been doing.
So really sorry for the 5-minute delay, guys. I really appreciate your patience, but promise that this will be worth your while. So real quick, because we're already behind the 8 ball on time.
I know, and I've got so much to share.
Yeah, quick, brief introduction. Our goal here at Jungle Scout is to help you guys become successful Amazon sellers and e-commerce entrepreneurs. And that really starts with finding the right product. That also extends to things like conversion rate optimization and creating the perfect Amazon listing that sells more than your competition. So we get a lot of people that ask about how they can create the right copy that will convert and give them a leg up on their competition. So we're really excited to have copywriting expert, president of Marketing Words, Karen Thaxton. She's a president of a marketing advertising agency with a focus on copywriting, SEO, and conversion rate optimization. So with that, I'd like to pass it over to Karen. And just real briefly, we will be taking questions in the chat box. We'll be monitoring them. We will be intermittently asking questions through the presentation to keep it interactive. So just if you have any questions, drop it in. We'll either get to it during the presentation or hopefully afterwards. And if I'll send the YouTube link as well in the top of the chat box. If there is any issues with the resolution, just head over to YouTube. Might be a better picture. So Karen, thanks so much for joining.
You are very welcome. Okay, now let me see how to share my screen and we will jump into this immediately. Hangout box. All right, point me in the right direction again.
It is on the left. It's going to be screen share.
There we go. All right. Entire screen.
And this will be recorded as well, so we'll send it out to all you guys afterwards in case you have to go. Yeah.
All right. So now, are you seeing a freebie up there right now?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. You can go to marketingwords.com/jungle right now, or you can write it down and do it later and get a free cheat sheet for 5 product listing secrets for Amazon sellers. marketingwords.com/jungle is what that is for the free cheat sheet. And as Gen said, we're going to be talking about top 12 tips for creating Amazon product listings that outsell the competition. And I do have a ton of information to share with you, so I will do my best to keep this at an hour as promised. I am sorry for the technical glitch. When Gen and I were talking about what to include, one of the issues was that this is such a diverse audience with everybody from raw newbies all the way up to advanced sellers. So I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of something for everyone so that all the folks that attend get something out of this. So we're going to kick right in. Marketing Words is a copywriting agency, and in addition to doing Amazon copy, we do landing pages, we do blog posts, PPC pads, emails, everything that deals with online copy. We are not an Amazon selling company. We leave that stuff to the pros like Gen and Jungle Scout and others to help you out with that. But we've worked with companies like American Boating Association, Entertainment.com, Gordon's Seafood, David's Cookies, and over 1,000 Amazon sellers. What we're going to talk about while we're together today is creating better copy by understanding who the text that you write is actually for, capturing attention and driving qualified traffic to your product pages, getting those quick fire combinations of features and benefits that really highlight your product as the obvious choice, going deeper in your product descriptions so that you can overcome hesitation with buyers and get them to close that sale right then, and then working with keyword research to get that right combination of relevant plus high volume search terms that bring the right shoppers to your pages. Simply driving tons of traffic that doesn't buy actually will eventually tank your conversion rate and then begin to nibble away at your ranking. So you need that combination there of relevant and high volume. The secret sauce to all of this, to everything we're about to cover, and tip number one, is something that most sellers skip. They don't think about it. They don't want to think about it. And it can just so seriously damage your product listing's ability to rank and to sell that I wanted to put this as the very first thing we talked about. And it is know your customers. And what happens so often with sellers that we work with when we write product listings is they come to us and they say, well, you know, I don't really care who buys the product as long as somebody buys the product. But if you don't know who the customers are, how in the world are you going to communicate effectively with them and get the message across through the copy that this is the product they need to purchase? Let me give you an example here. Based on what you know about me just within the last 3 minutes or so, do you think you would be able to buy me a birthday card? Maybe you would go to the store and think, oh, well, she's a woman, so we just need to find some card with some hot, hunky guy on it wearing a Speedo, and that would do it. You know, I'd send that to Karen, and that would make any woman happy. Until you find out that I'm kind of a conservative person, and that kind of thing doesn't do it for me. So if I got that card, I'd go, okay. So then what about one of those long, sappy cards with a birthday poem that takes up the entire front of it and blah, blah, blah? Well, I'm really kind of practical too. So a long, sappy birthday card wouldn't do it. What you'd probably end up doing is buying me just some generic card that said happy birthday in bright letters on the front and hope your special day is awesome and full of fun. Happy birthday. But what happens, it would be a card, and I would appreciate the sentiment, but you got me a generic card that talks about the occasion. You didn't pick out some special card for me that talks about my birthday. And this is exactly what happens when people try to create copy without knowing who their customers are. Because people take a look at your copy, it's all about the product. It has nothing to do with the customer whatsoever. Okay, yeah, you're going to make a few sales, but not nearly as many as if you spark a relationship with the shoppers. Gather as much information as you can about every area of your customer's life, gender, income, hobbies, everything, as much as you can find. These days, it is so super easy to do research like that online. Read your competitor reviews and your own reviews, not only the good ones, but also the bad ones, and especially pay attention to repeated phrases, good, bad, or otherwise, because you can rework those into the copy and people go, hey, that's exactly what I was thinking. They read my mind. Isn't that something? These things that I'm covering here are not only going to help you with one area of creating a product listing like the title or the bullets, but the keyword research as well, and everything else that you do when it comes to your listing, the pictures you have created, all that other stuff. Visit the manufacturer's website unless you are the manufacturer. If you're having this private labeled, you might want to visit the producer's website and see what other information they have. Does it have reviews? Does it have information that would be useful in the copy and important to your audience? YouTube is awesome. You can also find uses of how people are putting this product to work that you may not have thought about before. And all of that information can be incorporated into your copy as well. Especially make notes when you're doing this research about lifestyle situations, because people need to be able to envision themselves using your product. And the only way to do that is to drop little hints about, hey, you can do this with it and you can do that with it. And we're going to see some examples of this in just a little while. So when you put all of this all of what's involved with knowing your customer into effect with every part of the words of your listing, writing words and keywords, then you're able to overcome objections, to get a trust factor going, and more easily convert shoppers into buyers.
Thanks.
So,
Hey, Karen, so
yes.
just to go back for a quick second,
Yep.
your first point there,
Uh-huh.
how do you actually find out more information about your customers when you're doing e-commerce so you can't get face-to-face and have conversations with them? Are there particular resources you recommend or methods of gathering that information?
Yeah, just what I was saying. Read competitor reviews, read your own reviews, go to the manufacturer's website and see what information they have or if it has reviews. You can do searches on YouTube and it will talk about who the customers are in these videos that manufacturers create and things of that nature. You can go to sites like QVC or Home Shopping Network, and a lot of times they have their little spiels that they do live recorded, so you can go back and watch them on the website. And that usually does a very good job of talking about, if you're a homemaker, you might want to use this mop this way and that way. If you're a college student, it tucks really neatly into just some tiny little closet. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and all these different things, because they're mentioning those lifestyle situations that apply to the people in that target market. Got
it. Okay. Do they provide some of the demographic and quantitative stuff like income and gender?
No, but I've put that information up there. Any information you can find is going to be helpful. If you're not able to find gender and income and hobbies and all of that stuff like that, start with what you have. Any way of connecting with your customer is going to be better than just doing some generic kind of copy that is boring and distant.
Sure. Excellent.
Okay, so tip number 2, you yourself need to shop on Amazon regularly. And this goes hand in hand with tip number 1. The reason for this is because you need to see exactly what your customers are seeing and in the same format they are seeing it. So you want to go on Amazon, regardless if you're buying a pack of pencils and you will not order it from Amazon. You'll go down to the local drugstore and get it. That's fine. Shop for a pack of pencils on Amazon anyway, just so you can get some experience as an Amazon customer. Shop on your computer, on your smartphone, using both a browser and also the Amazon app, and on a tablet using the browser and also an Amazon app, because they all view differently. And we're going to talk in a minute about how this specifically impacts titles, but it can also impact other areas of the listing that you write. So take lots of notes while you're going through. When you were shopping for that pack of pencils or the new USB microphone or whatever it is that you're looking for, what did you click on? Why did you click on that? What was it that appealed to you? Which types of bullets captured your attention? Why did they capture your attention? Was it the information? Was it the way the information was phrased? All of these things, the same in the description, all of these things will be important, because if you were attracted to these types of bullets, these titles, these things in the description, chances are your customers will be too. So if you take notes about everything that appealed to you, you can incorporate that into product listings that you write yourself. Tip number 3, do not blindly follow the competition. We see this happening quite a bit as well. People don't want to learn how to write copy. I understand that. For some folks, it's just as much fun as public speaking. I happen to enjoy both of those, so I'm probably just strange. But I know a lot of people don't want to learn how to write. That's why there are companies out there that can write it for you. But if you simply copy what somebody else is doing, you're going to be misled, because what you see visibly on an Amazon sales page and what some software is able to scrape for you can really take you down a wrong path. And I'll show you what we run into all the time with sellers that hire us to write their listings. the data that's visible can be so easily and artificially inflated that you look at bestseller rankings, the number of reviews, how much, it's got a bestseller banner up there and all this stuff like that. And you think, wow, they are kicking butt and taking names. And that's not true because of all these things you see on the screen. They've offered freebies out the wazoo or huge discount codes. They've traded product for reviews and had people come into Amazon and get it with a 100% discount. They've launched campaigns that have since completed, and now there are no sales coming in because the campaign is over. They're up to their eyeballs in sponsored ad fees. And the information showing on the page is so skewed because every sale that comes through that page counts, even if it's for $0 or $1. Amazon says, you've got all these sales, here are these tremendous numbers, but because all of these sales were for $0 or $1, or because sellers are up to their eyeballs in paying for sponsored ads, they're making no money or they're even in debt. So please do not, when you create your listings, don't just go find some product listing that seems to be a big seller and copy what they're doing. It could really lead you down a wrong path.
Yeah. So I just want to mention that as far as that information, absolutely agree. And that's a great point. It's not always, what you see is not always the truth. So if anybody does have the web app, quick plug for the web app, you can get that information with a product tracker. So you can get the sales rank. So if you do see a spike based on a promotion or a giveaway, like Karen mentioned, you'll see that. You'll see the price historically. So you can avoid being fooled by any data on the product page.
Yes, and that's a good point. I am not saying that you cannot trust software that goes behind the scenes. I'm saying from what you can see visibly right there on the sales page, you can easily be misled. So don't base it on what you can see. If you're going to do research like that, be sure that you've got something like what Gin was talking about that can give you correct information. Okay, let's talk titles. Tip number 4, check your title at various character lengths. And there's a reason for this that I'm going to show you. You need to write these down: 35 characters, 76 characters, 115 characters. And when you write your titles, you need to be sure that you have helpful and informative information at each one of these. Now, if you're in a category like clothing or something that has an 80 character limit, you're not even going to reach the 115 characters, and that's fine. But the point is, the title doesn't always show in its entirety depending on where customers are looking. And they have to have solid information, not fluff, but something that they could look at that portion of the title and go, oh yeah, I want to know more about that. Here's an example. Standard, straight up search results page. If you go up to the top in the white box and do a word search, the words I typed in were omega-3 supplement. This is what you get. Now you'll see this first listing, omega-3 fish oil, is cut off. It has an ellipsis, a ... at the end. The title is longer than this, but on this particular search results page, only 115 characters are going to show up. That's all the space that Amazon allotted for it in this view. If you look at a sponsored ad in the sidebar, you're only going to see about 35 characters of your title showing up. But if you look on Amazon Mobile, the app, in a smartphone setting, 76 characters show up before the ellipsis, before the ... cuts off the rest of the title. If you look on Amazon's mobile app in a tablet view, you get 140 characters before it cuts the title off. So all of these different things, you can see how important it is. If you're like this in the left-hand column right now where we're looking at this second one, Planet Homeware Vegetable Steamer, that just goes on and on and on, and then it's cut off after 140 characters. The first 35 or so characters of that would be Planet Homeware Vegetable Steamer. Now, granted, people don't just click on items based on the title. That is extremely important, but the picture plays a part, and the price plays a part, and other things that are visible there play a part as well. But that's about all somebody would see of this one, Planet Homeware Vegetable Steamer, and that's all you get. So all this stainless steel, collapsible, non-rusting, none of that's going to show up. Even if you get one benefit here, Planet Homeware Vegetable Steamer 100% stainless steel, if you do like the 76 characters and whatnot. So just check it, spot check it at these different points to make sure that regardless of where it pops up, they're going to get some bit of information that would give them an inkling of what your product is about. Tip number 5, please do not just shove keyword, 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 keyword into your title. Not only does it not cause you to get higher search rankings on Amazon, but it also causes customers like me to roll their eyes, because most of the time it doesn't make sense. If I'm not talking about putting keywords in and forming a cohesive title. I'll show you an example in just a little bit. Tip number 6, check your category style guide for specifics. Oh man, if we had more time, I would jump up on my soapbox. Amazon drives me nutty, and they do this for a lot of sellers because the information in the style guide is different than the information in Add a Product, which is different than the information in a flat file. And if you dig around on Seller Central, you can sometimes find a 4th character limit that is different from all the previous 3. But I will tell you, if you get the nasty email saying we've delisted your product and we won't make it live again until you bring it under compliance, they will mean that you have to do it according to what the style guide says. So here I'm going to beg you to take just 2 minutes and create a Seller Central ticket and ask them to please send it to the category team. And you can write this down, type it down. You can do a screenshot of it with your phone or something and do it later. All you have to say is, why are there different title counts in the Add a Product, style guide, and flat file? It's very confusing. Can you please make them all match? And that's all you have to do. The more people who talk about this to the category team, the quicker it's going to get fixed, because it's just unfair. You'll see something in Add a Product and you put it in, and a month later you get an email from Amazon with a nasty gram that says they're delisting you because you're not doing what they're telling you to do. So just ridiculous. Here we go. This is one that I run into quite a bit. And we're going to do, again, if you can take a look at the comments here, the top one is number 1, the middle one is number 2, and the bottom one is number 3. So based on the title only, which one would you be more likely to click on first? I'm not saying that you wouldn't click the other 2 eventually, but based only on the title, which one would you click on first? Stick it into the chat box there, 1, 2, or 3. This happens quite a bit, especially with private label products, because they all look essentially the same. They have different colors of blue. They all have pretty much the same stuff. You know, they've got the same accessories and all this other thing. So it starts to boil down to the title, and then of course the prices on these are really similar. Everybody has great reviews. What are you seeing over there, Glenn? 1, 2, or 3?
Man, I don't know. I see a bunch of 2s and 3s.
It's not a trick. It's not a trick question, by the way. It's your preference. 1, 2. I'm not going to come back and say, "Oh, that's wrong." Nope. Yeah. Whichever one would appeal to you the most.
But I'll tell you, I would click on 1, and the reason is because it is the top ranked product. It does have a full sentence, a longer sentence, and it shows that it has options for colors, so blue or gray or blue and gray. So I'd probably choose 1.
I would choose 1 also. And the reason is I think it gives me more useful information. I mean, premium quality, that's a broad, sweeping phrase that has no meaning whatsoever to me. But the top one, lightweight outdoor travel, camping, multifunctional hammock with hanging rope and carabiners blue and gray. And people say, well, they can see the colors. Yes, but every monitor is different. So if mine is an older monitor, I might not be seeing blue and gray. I might be seeing more like gray and white or something to that effect. But I like the titles personally that give more information and less fluff. And those are the ones with our clients that we see that tend to convert better. There are exceptions to every rule. And like we said, the title doesn't work alone. But that's what generally we come to. But you can see how important this is. If you go take a look in the kitchen category and do a search for anything that has the word silicone in it, you're going to come across a situation very similar to this, where you're going to have tons of the almost identical products back to back to back to back. So your title needs to be able to draw people in. And it may take some testing, rearranging words, taking words out, putting different words in, moving the brand name from the front, putting it to the back, doing some minor tweaks to see what actually gets more click-throughs on the title that you're using.
Sure. So looks like all three of them follow this, but your thoughts on adding the brand to the listing. So, you're just talking about how limited the characters are based on the device. So if you're very limited, why would you want to include your private label brand, which might not be a selling point because nobody's ever heard of it, at the very beginning, and use up those characters? What are your thoughts? Use it or don't?
There are people that want to absolutely follow all of Amazon's rules because they don't ever want to get a nasty gram and have their products taken down. And I completely and totally understand that. But this is one rule that I don't understand why Amazon implemented it, because if you look under the blue title, they always put buy, and there goes your brand name. So you've got One Nice, and then underneath the title, buy One Nice. Golden Eagle Portable, buy Golden Eagle. So since they're going to put it there anyway, half the time we don't put it in there, or maybe we'll tack it on the end if we're writing listings for clients. If they insist on putting it in, we absolutely will, and we understand following all the rules, but I'm with you. I mean, it's in there anyway, and this would be in camping, which if I am correct, I think it gets like 150 character title or something. So that's a decent amount of space. But if it was something like baby that gets 50 characters legally, or clothing, then you might have an issue with that. But I'm with you. I don't always recommend putting the title in there, not in the front.
Good to know. Thank you.
Okay, here's a not so good title example, and this is from Cheese Grater, Vegetable Grater. We're going to be picking on this product a lot because this is a really awful listing that I found way back on page 20 or 22, something like that, and we know why it's on 20 or 22. Spring clearance sale. Amazon calls this type of information subjective language or marketing language, and it is not allowed. It's an illegal tactic. Of course, here it is right here in this title. So that shows you how good Amazon is about policing their own policies. Vitabliss cheese grater, best is not allowed in titles. Best box grater for cheese and vegetable, only one vegetable, comma ginger. It's not a very cohesive. He says spring clearance sale, but down here under the price, there's no sale. It just says price. So kind of deceptive too. This could give more information in less space and be a lot more compelling. And we're going to look at some good examples of titles too. Here's another bad one. Remember I said don't just shove arbitrary keywords in. Ella Giant, nylon hammock, hanging mesh, net sleeping bed, swinging outdoor, camping, picnic, travel. How's that?
It's a poem.
That makes me think I want to click on that, doesn't it? Oh, please. Just ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. It would not entice me whatsoever. This was another one that was way back on page 22, and we know why. Not a tactic I recommend. But here are two good ones while I was digging around the hammock. Double camping hammock with tree straps and carabiners, lightweight, portable, parachute nylon for backpacking. And of course it got cut off. There's our friend, the ellipsis, the ... But even that information lets me know the size and what's included, that it's lightweight, that it's that parachute nylon. Maybe that's very important to me. Down here is another good one that's not quite as long. The whole title was there. Both of these, this one did not include the brand. This one did, but it gives more information here as well. And as we said, it all works together. I would probably click this one first, even though it costs more, simply because this one says it has a carrying case. It doesn't show one. Now, we've written a bazillion pieces of copy for these types of hammocks. I think this was a fad at one point for people to sell these. And I happen to know that this little flap of material over here on the side is actually the pouch, the carrying pouch. But if you didn't know that, you might think, okay, does it actually come with a carrying case or not?
Right.
Feature bullets. Once you get past your title and you get that nailed down the way that you want it, whether you're following exactly what Amazon recommends for your particular category, and every category is different, or you're stretching the limits a little bit and putting in information maybe that has a little bit of marketing language, you want to expand on that in your feature bullets. And tip number 7 is to write strong bullets. You do not want vague statements full of fluff and marketing language. The last USB microphone you'll ever buy, the best box grader on the market today. All of these are what I deem as broad, sweeping, unsubstantiated marketing language, and it doesn't do any good. You need to be laser specific about the features and the benefits and the lifestyle uses of the bullets in your product page. Another thing is that you need to actually include features and benefits. I've seen people that used the 5 bullet points and didn't say a word about the product. They talked about how many reviews they had. They used all this broad sweeping marketing hype that didn't say anything about the product. They talked about the company. They talked about the brand. They talked about the bonus ebook. Not one bullet was actually about the product being sold. So you do actually need to talk about your product in your bullet points. And then use the so what method, or if you're an NCIS fan, you could use the Gibbs method. Name the feature, the physical attribute, and then ask yourself, so what? Or if you're Gibbs, how's this going to help me?
All right.
You can tack
Matlock.
You can tack a McGee or an abs on the end if that helps you. How's this going to help me, abs? But that's exactly what your customers are thinking. So what if it's a condensed unidirectional microphone? I've got my USB microphone sitting here on the table, so that's why I keep referring to that. So what? What does that mean? Why should I care? What does unidirectional mean? How is that going to make me do better with the webinars that I do or recording the products that I create? Go watch your length of your bullets, blah, blah, blah. Can't get it out. In flat files and things like that, there is information in some of them that say that the maximum for that field is 500 characters. It does not mean you're allowed to have a 500 character bullet point. That's one of the things that Amazon needs to be changed. And even if you were allowed, why would you want to? In an e-commerce environment, people like to read short snippets of copy. They don't want to read page after page after page. And if you get 500 character bullets back to back, it creates this massive block of text on the Amazon page. If you look at it in a mobile setting, it's horrible. And over 60% of Amazon shoppers are doing that on an app on a mobile device. So just because the length of something says you could put in X number of characters doesn't mean it's a good idea to do that. Our recommendation is between 150 and 200 characters per bullet. That gives you enough space to be able to provide good, solid information and entice the shopper without overwhelming them with unnecessary text.
Got it. So, Karen, going back to that point, you know, and when you see those blocks of text, my guess is that the seller is trying to appeal to Amazon's algorithm. So use as many relevant keywords that they actually do show up for a given search query.
Right.
When you're doing the bullets, and really for any of this copy, is your main priority to sell to the customer, assuming that they're reading it through, or are you trying to appeal to Amazon's algorithm and show up in the search results?
It can't be a main priority. The two of those have to work together. You have to strike a balance, because if you make one or the other a main priority, you're going to end up with a listing that converts really high but doesn't get very much traffic at all. Or you're going to end up with something that may possibly get tons of traffic. I mean, possibly, get tons of traffic, but doesn't convert very well. So you have to find a balance. And I know people absolutely hate it when I say you're going to have to test that, but you're going to have to test it and see which ones work better. Now, Amazon recently changed its page in Seller Central, and there's something in the headline sections on the homepage of Seller Central now. This came out a couple of weeks ago, where it talks about the fact that it is looking for keywords anywhere in the listing. And if the keyword is anywhere in the listing, you don't have to put it in the search terms. If it's in the title, if it's in the bullet, if it's in the description, you don't need it in the search terms. Now, we haven't really tested that yet because it's new that they've come out with this. So I don't know that I'm really willing to trust it right away. But supposedly that's what the change is.
Got it.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out.
So to add to that, if it's anywhere in the listing and it only needs to be in there once, right? It's not like old school Google SEO where the more you add a specific keyword, the more relevant or prioritized it is.
No keyword density garbage in Amazon. You put it one time and you don't need to do it again.
Okay. So going back to these bullet points, 2 more questions. Have you found that a particular position in the bullet is more widely read or more important as far as like primacy or recency, like the first or the last, or is it from top to bottom that people read? Or do you have any best practices?
Right. If you've got, especially if your product ends up with one of the new Amazon page formats where the bullets fall below the images, immediately visible will only be so many characters. And if one bullet takes up all of the character limit, you'll have to check it for the category that you're in and see what shows up. And industrial shows up differently than kitchen, which shows up differently than other things. But if you have one massive bullet that's the first bullet, it could be that that's the only thing that shows up under the image. If you have bullets that are about 150 to 200, you can usually get 3 bullets in there. If you do bullets that are more like 100 characters each, you can get all 5 in there without a customer having to click. Now, is it more important for them to see all 5 of the bullets that you're talking about, all 5 features, and then maybe they'll just scroll down and read the details in the description? Or is it better to give more information in the bullets and have them click the more button to see all 5 of them? And that, again, is something that you're going to have to test. There's not a solid answer for that. It very much varies from product to category. So you will have to test the length of those and see what happens every time you change it. Now, as far as the priority, the first 3 bullets are always what get read most. Even if all of the bullets show in the old product page format where the bullets are off to the side of the image, the first 3 are always the ones that get read most. So something else to test is to rotate your bullets and see. Just because you think something is the main feature or the main benefit of the product doesn't mean that your customer is going to agree with that. You may offer some ebook wine tasting guide or something like that with a wine aerator that you're selling, but perhaps your customers don't care about being a wine connoisseur. All they want is the wine aerator. So when you move that from the first position down to maybe the 4th position and you put something else up there, then all of a sudden your sales take off because now they're getting the information that they really wanted. So don't think that just because it's important to you, it's also important to them. You need to test it.
Sure.
Okay. Tip number 8. When you're writing your bullets, you need to appeal to your customers. And you can do this in several ways. You can overcome objections, go back to the reviews that we talked about when we were learning about our customers, find out what people hate about competitors' products, and then show them in your bullet points how you overcome these ordinary types of products and yours is superior. You can incorporate those lifestyle uses that we were talking about, and I've got examples of these that I'm going to show you as well, where you talk about you can use it for this, you can do that, you know, it chops, it dices, you can take it on the camper, you can put it on your boat, you know, whatever the case may be. That makes them more personal and helps the customers envision using it. You can address your audience by segment. If you sell, let's see, infusion water bottles, huge number of segments for the infusion water bottle audience. Athletes could be buying these. Professionals and executives could be buying these so that they don't continue to drink sodas out of the vending machine. Parents could be buying these for kids because it encourages them to drink more water and it tastes great and there's no sugar and all of these things. So all sorts of difference. You could do bullets, you know, athletes benefit by blah, blah, blah. You know, if you're an office professional, save a ton of money and cut your sugar intake by 92% when you switch to infused water versus soda and that type of thing. You're making a connection. You're making it real for them, not just looking at it going, oh, it's a plastic bottle. Awesome. So let's look at some examples of strong features and benefits that can go in the bullets. This is one that has an ebook, and we're just looking at the bullets in these. Free recipe ebook, how-to videos will make you a kitchen rock star who whips up fun, tasty veggies, desserts, garnishes. Everyone will love, even the kids. And then look down at the third one. I also liked dual purpose tool, gives gourmet quality results, whether you're peeling potatoes and carrots, making cucumber ribbons, or slicing julienne vegetables on the fly. So they've got ideas. It's not just peeling and carrots. Oh, cucumber ribbons. Cool. That's a different way to do it. And then down here is one that talks about segments. Bullet number 4, perfect for paleo, vegan, diabetic, blah, 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 so that they can create meals that fit with their diets quickly and easily.
Sure.
This one I liked. This is for extra virgin olive oil and balsamic duo. Sustainably California grown, certified extra virgin olive oil, hand picked, hand bottled for freshness and optimal flavor. Balsamic is imported from Modena, Italy, and aged over 18 years, making it thick and sweet in flavor. You can see the feature benefit going on here. Sustainably California grown, certified. So what? Well, it's hand picked and hand bottled, and it's fresh, and it right at the time where it gets optimal flavor. It's imported from Italy and aged 18 years. Okay, how's that going to help me, McGee? Because it's thick and sweet in flavor. Oh, awesome. That sounds great. And then down here for gift givers, those people who are the segment of the audience that would be giving this away instead of using it, it says that it's wrapped in a cellophane bag with a hand-tied bow, perfect for any occasion. So these guys are incorporating several different types of bullets, which is perfectly fine. And just to show you that excellent copywriting can even make a plain old white thermometer exciting, these bullets, it's a $3.86 product, but it's still, the bullets are really well written. This 9-inch analog patio thermometer adds classic style and trustworthy temperature and humidity readings to your outdoor space. Low profile body, houses bold, easy to read graphics, blah, 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 Fahrenheit and Celsius, quality UV resistant graphics. And you've got feature benefit on here too. Low body profile. This is why it's important. Quality UV fade resistant graphics. why, and it tells you shatterproof and weather resistant, and it goes on to say it even talks about a white background as a feature. I love these bullets. I have never been so excited about a thermometer before, but they did an awesome job on these. So you can boost the quality of any product, really. Now, our friend, the vegetable and cheese grater, these are its bullets, and bless its heart, it just really needs some help. This first bullet, quickly grate cheeses like Parmesan, root vegetables, and here's the kicker: you're going to spend more time cooking your healthy meals. I get what it's trying to say, but I think someone whose native first language is not English must have written these. You never want to tell somebody they're going to spend more time cooking. You could say something about less time prepping and cooking, more time enjoying your healthy meals. Four-sided box, okay? That's not really a very exciting feature to list, but then the math doesn't add up. We've got 3 slicers, plus a fine surface, plus a coarse surface, which is 5, not 4. Comfortable handle. Yeah, okay. Maybe ergonomic handle. Maybe something else that's a little more exciting than just comfortable handle. Overall, these do incorporate some good information, but they're not well written and they're rather confusing.
Sure. So could have added more feature benefit and perhaps like a segmentation for who would actually use it and why they would enjoy that grater.
Exactly. And another thing they keep doing is they keep talking about quickly grate hard cheeses like Parmesan. That's in here like 3 or 4 times. Grating hard cheese or nut zest and blah, blah, blah. So it's not well thought out. It's just, okay, what are the features, and let's stick some copy in there and see what flies. But this is, like I said before, this one was way, way, way back in the search results. So the other thing that I kind of chuckled out, this skinny gadget is a perfect solution for small drawers, which is a little confusing. But if you see this thing, it's not really a skinny gadget, not at all. Okay, product descriptions. We're going to go back to the product description of this, and you're going to get another chuckle because it's just strange. Tip number 9, imagine the experience. You want to take those bullet points and expand on them in your product description and highlight what is different or better about your product than all the other sellers on Amazon. There are people out there that purchase the exact same product from the exact same suppliers as 10,000 other sellers. And that makes it enormously difficult for you to come up with a differentiating factor because it's all the same. You're buying them from the same place. They're the same color and the same style and the same price. So in order to help people imagine the experience of owning your product, you need to be able to tell them what is different or better. Maybe you're going to put it in a bundle. Maybe you can highlight other purposes. We've done copy before for a seller of plastic containers that instead of going for storage, went for portion control for dieters and health nuts and things like that. Maybe yours is better quality. It's not exactly the same as the others, even though it looks like it. Yours has an additional rubber seal or whatever. You offer more colors, something. It only takes one thing, but you will spend a lot of money on PPC ads if you don't have a product that is different, or you don't have a way to make it different so that people can imagine using yours instead of everybody else's.
Sure.
Think of infomercials when you imagine the experience. Infomercials have one advantage over writing Amazon copy, and that is that they're live on TV. And they show people. You can make shakes with it and smoothies, and you can blend up soups and do all these other things. You can do the same thing with words. if you think along those same lines. And this came out of Seller Central, actually. Imagine the experience when you describe your product. You might want to include some key features from your bullets, but go beyond simple, to the point description. Well-written product descriptions help the customer imagine the experience of owning and handling your products. What do they want to feel and touch and ask? Incorporate that information into the description, and I agree 100%. Just going to read a portion of this because I do realize that we're running short on time. Embrace pure luxury with this stunning platinum diamond solitaire pendant. A single round diamond, 1 carat, cradled in a 4-pronged platinum setting beneath a traditional split bail, blah, blah, blah. And you can see on there how specific it is. And you can just imagine, I'm seeing this diamond ring being created in front of me in my imagination when I read this copy. So when you add this to the pictures, it really creates a very powerful experience for the buyer. So here's our description for our little kitchen gadget thing. Now this opening to the description is just messed up. They've got the first sentence as a question, but it's written as a statement. So maybe they mean, is your small kitchen? No. If your small kitchen needs one big but compact gadget that would substitute for what cannot fit in. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
You can't be big and compact, for one thing, and I don't have a clue what they mean about could substitute for what cannot fit in. Then this grater and slicer is a must-have for you. Let's see we go back to the grating hard cheese like Parmesan. Non-slip rubber base and handle, so you can grate over any surface, not relying on finding a container that fits. Not sure what that means. Enough different size holes to get the perfect result. I think they're trying to say that you could shred, coarse, or fine, or whatever, and they weren't sure what to call it. You need to find out what to call it. Easy to clean surface, removable base, so you can grate soft cheese and know it's not a problem later. I think they maybe mean that it might get stuck in the grater. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but you can see how confusing this is. Mm-hmm. So we need to be clear. We need to help people imagine using the product instead of just filling space. Tip number 10, know what can get you in trouble when it comes to search terms. We get this question 100 times a week, I bet. Can I put competitor brand names in my search terms? If you're playing by Amazon's terms of service, no, you cannot. Amazon states that this is considered irrelevant information and misleading, and that your listing will be removed and your account will be suspended. I do not know of any sellers that have had their account suspended, but just having them say this is the only second time that I've seen in Seller Central where they say that this is a violation that could get your account suspended. So I would pay attention to it. Don't include subjective claims like we talked about in the title. No amazing and best and, number one, things of that nature. Those could also get you in trouble as well. Tip 11, know that keywords are merely suggestions. Amazon says that they reserve the right not to use any of the keywords that you put in the search term fields for retrieving the products. And some of the reasons they list is that potential manipulation of search results, irrelevant search terms, which would be competitor terms, blah, 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 offensive or illegal terms, and all of these things. So it's Amazon's system. You can fill up the search terms if you want to, but know that Amazon can either take them or leave them at their discretion. And tip number 12, we also get tons of questions from people about where can I get ideas for more relevant keywords. What we do is a combination of resources. We use Amazon.com itself, especially looking in the search suggestions and in the left side category navigation bar. We use merchant words. We use SEO Chat's free keyword tool that they have. It's online. It does pretty much the same thing as FreshKey, but you don't have to pay for it and you don't have to download it. So that works really well. And then here are the top 10 things that we look at when we're researching keywords. Legitimate alternative spellings. Synonyms are huge because everybody doesn't call the same thing by the same name. Your different product features. Maybe people are searching by the feature, maybe not, but you can certainly check to see if there's high volume for those. Who it's for. We talked about segments. So you could have adults and kids, senior citizens, graduates, athletes, professionals, executives, blah, blah, blah. The different colors could possibly be good keywords. The different materials and flavors. Gift occasions. Would it make a great housewarming gift? How about a great gift for a pet lover? You can research all of these types of things and find some pretty decent keywords as well. And then there are broad associations. You can look for, if it's a pet product, you might look for house breaking accessories for dogs or something to that effect. You know, cat litter box accessories, cat litter box gadgets, things of that nature sometimes make good keywords. And of course the uses, just like we saw with the hammocks. Parachute nylon hammock for camping, parachute nylon hammock for backpacking. You know, all these different types of uses also make awesome keywords as well. So spend your time and just get absorbed in keyword land. You can just follow all these different trails and see exactly where they lead you. And one thing might spark an idea that you didn't think about before. So lots of good suggestions there for you. And then I'm absolutely going to stick around and answer the questions that we have. I don't want you to feel like I'm not going to do that, but I'll leave this up first. I did bring a special offer. The information that I have been teaching you today comes primarily from my ebook, Amazon Advantage, Product Listing Strategies to Boost Your Sales. And if you go to marketingwords.com/Amazon book, marketingwords.com/Amazon book, and use coupon code JUNGLE20, JUNGLE20 with no spaces, then you'll get 20% off when you purchase that, and it takes you into more detail about the stuff that we have talked about today. So I wanted to leave that offer for you too.
Thanks. And just to be clear, that's out of Karen's generosity. It's not an affiliate link. She was just nice enough to offer a discount to this, and have not read the book, but from the content that you offer today, Karen, I'm sure there's fantastic stuff that would help conversion rate. So thank you again. That was a great presentation.
Oh, absolutely.
So thanks for everybody for attending. It is 12:02. We will go through a couple questions, but if you do have any additional questions, then please drop them in the chat, and then we will get to it. One question, Karen, to start is, earlier you were going through, you're talking about how you really want to create a customized page and copy for every particular product and the differing niches that might be interested in the product. And so we had a question about how you would actually do that at scale for somebody who has hundreds or even thousands of SKUs. Do you have a recommendation for kind of like scaling that over many products?
Typically what happens with that type of situation is you're going to need to create a template. And that way you can just search for, maybe you're writing a bullet and you want to put it to one particular segment. So you create, we'll say the infusion water bottle, perfect for athletes. And in your template, you write perfect for and put segment or whatever keyword you want to put in there, because it allows you to, and then you fill in the end of the sentence. And what a lot of our larger companies do is they'll do that, and then you can search through all of those spaces in the Excel spreadsheet and you fill in what the need is. So you've got all of your products that appeal to athletes or whatever. You can go in and search segment and do a find replace, find segment and replace with athlete. And then you do the next group that's going to people who are health conscious. So you replace segment with health conscious, and it goes through and you do the find and replace, and it does it all at one time. But if you have various products that are the same but slightly different, where you're reusing copy, that's a good strategy. If you have thousands of products that you need to do this with, and every single one of them is different, that's just going to take a good amount of time to go through and look at each one or groups of them as you have time.
Got it. So also we were talking about like quantifying the data and genders, hobbies, that kind of stuff. I did see it in the chat, and I forgot to mention Facebook ad insights is helpful. You don't even need to necessarily like have anything running as far as ads in order to get access to that. And if you do have a niche site, then analytics offers that in behavior and audience. So that is helpful. So we did have a couple questions about keyword research, if you could dig into that.
Okay.
One thing that I did want to mention is I thought Google Keyword Planner is great, and it doesn't offer the search volume on Amazon per se. You'd be having to use Google as a proxy, but it is helpful as far as stack ranking what the most popular keywords are, and so you can prioritize based on search volume.
Are you asking if I like?
Oh no, I was just commenting that I like Google Keyword Planner. Yeah. But yeah, if you could maybe go through at a high level on how you are doing that research with those different resources.
Well, we don't do Keyword Planner. We tend to stick to the ones that are specific to Amazon. And even though every single tool, even if it's an Amazon specific tool, will only provide you with estimates, because Amazon, unless you're running a paid campaign, Amazon does not release that information about search volume and whatnot publicly. So no tool is going to give you actual Amazon data. They're all going to be estimates based on their own little algorithm and what they're able to scrape. But we go through and start with Amazon, and we do a competitor look through to see what others that are ranking high are doing, understanding that there are lots of different elements that cause a page to rank high, not just the words, but that's the first step to get some ideas in that. We then take a look at SEO chat and use that tool to be able to find ideas that we may have missed just going through some of the competitor listings. Then, if necessary, we will go into a tool that does competitor search reports and comes back with the search terms that competitors for that product are ranking for on, page 1, page 2, what have you. Sometimes that provides some good insight, sometimes not. So we don't always use that. When we do the keyword research correctly, we usually don't get too many surprises when we do a competitor report. And then we go through to Merchant Words is one product that we use quite a bit that gets the estimated search volume. You can use a lot of different tools that will give you that, and just know that they are estimates. And we're looking for keywords that are very relevant and also have the highest possible search volume. And high search volume is an extremely subjective term, because in a product that has that's a really high priced product, diamond rings and things of that nature, you're not going to have the high volume that you have for specific products versus some kitchen tool that doesn't cost very much. So you have to look and see. Just know that some terms are higher than the other terms are. But we go through all of that information, and then we also take a look on Amazon, go back in there. If we're finding terms that seem to be really high search volume, we'll type them into Amazon before we add them to the search term. One example was that we did, it was plastic wine tumblers for outdoor use and whatnot. I mean, plastic wine glasses, stemless wine glasses. And one term that we found was wine tumblers. Well, when we typed wine tumbler into Amazon.com, it came up with a completely different kind of glass than what our client was selling. So obviously that was a specific term for this shape and size of wine glass. And we decided not to use that, even though it had high search volume, because we were a little concerned that it would cause bounces on the page. People would type in wine tumbler, they'd get there and go, that's not what I was looking for, and turn around and leave. And when you get that, the same thing with, trying to stuff 5,000 characters into your search terms that, may or may not be relevant to the product you're selling. You get a lot of traffic in there. They don't find what they're looking for. They leave. Your conversion rate starts to drop. And then, of course, eventually so will your rankings on Amazon, because they're not going to return listings high in the search terms that aren't making sales.
Right.
So all of that is part of the process that we use when we're doing them.
Excellent. So I guess that is to say that you would put prioritize the keywords in the front of the listing. And that's another argument for not having too many listings and writing as a human would read it. Right.
Prioritize the keywords in the front. You mean put them in front of the title, put them in the front of the search terms?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually it works out that way anyway. It's not something that we're really overly concerned about. We've seen mixed results with tests with that. That is something that when we have clients that want to do some testing or whatnot, we recommend that they, part of that, like we said earlier, rearrange the order of the words in the title and see. Now, what we do pay attention to is the drop-off points, the 35, the 76, and the 115 characters, so that we can make sure that there's something of value for the customer in those first blips. Most of the time that means that it's a feature, and if it's a very important feature and we've elected to put it in the title, then it needs to be in the front for that reason. But that's more of a click-through / conversion reason than it is a ranking reason.
Got it. So when you're talking about product titles and length, and earlier you mentioned that more and more people are on mobile and especially the app. When you're writing a listing, would you optimize your title for mobile or for desktop?
Both. You need to pay attention to those cutoffs, 35, 76, and 115. On a phone or something like that, you're going to have the little shorter title. If you're running PPC ads, you also need to pay attention to that. So you're optimizing for everything that you're doing. I don't like the questions. What's the number one thing you would do, or which one would you optimize for? Amazon is very much a puzzle that requires balance in order to work it correctly. If you pay too much attention to one particular thing, it's going to skew your results.
Got it. So talking about Amazon's policies, somebody was asking about the main feature image and adding a logo.
Okay, Marketing Words does words. We do words, writing words and keywords. So I have absolutely no knowledge of images.
All right, great point. I would say that is technically against Amazon's terms of service. We were doing it with Jungle Sticks, which is our private label product, both with the image and without. The test results aren't in yet, but it is not technically within Amazon's TOS. I guess we have time for a few more questions. And I was going to ask about video, but we won't cover that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess somebody's asking about the order of keywords, but you've already addressed that. So how can we get in touch with you and then follow up for anybody that wants to learn more?
I hang out a lot on Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/marketingwords. I'm over there a good bit. And if you're interested in the ebook, that link is marketingwords.com/Amazon book. And the coupon code was Jungle20 if you want to get that. We also have a blog, marketingwords.com/blog. And there are lots of articles there in the Amazon section that you can take a look at. If you do e-com sites as well as Amazon, there's all sorts of other information about writing different types of online copy that you might be interested in seeing. And if you're interested in having Marketing Words write your product description page, you can go to marketingwords.com/Amazon listings with an S on the end, /Amazon listings. We've tried to do a really great job of putting every single bit of information that you need to answer all your questions on that page, and order buttons are on that page, and turnaround times and what's included and all sorts of other stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can go there as well. But we're all over the place. We're on Twitter, but Facebook is my favorite. I'm on. I would get a notice if you left something on Twitter, but we hang out a good bit on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you've been fantastic, Karen. I really appreciate sharing so much transparency and value. I know everybody learned a lot, and want to thank you for your time. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.